investors' radar of late on the buzz that they may be acquiring HPCL for 44,000 crore rupees. We've heard that enough number of times. A.K. Srinivasan, Director Finance at ONGC, joins us on the phone line. Mr. Srinivasan, good morning. Thank you very much for joining us, sir. It's a distance since we heard about this big announcement from the government. Have you been approached? Any update at all in terms of development of this idea?
See, this is all media news which we are hearing, and we are not very much aware what's the process going around. So we have not heard anything from the government yet on this.
Okay.
But this is a media news which is being floating on the air.
Well, actually, Mr. Dharmendra Pradhan did not rubbish it when we told him. Even if that specific stock name has not been mentioned, did the government at least call you all for a discussion on potential mergers of any kind?
As far as my knowledge goes, we are not being called for any specific discussions. But informally, some discussion would have been happening, but for which I am not very much aware about it.
Srinivasan, good morning. The other issue that I wanted to discuss is the more recent one. Yesterday, we had the announcement that GDF could be selling its 10% stake in Petronet, but the first right of refusal is with the promoters. Now, you own 12.5% and the three other government PSUs also hold 12.5%. So together you have 50%.
Correct.
Do you have any understanding whether you'll buy this 10% stake again equally, 2.5% among all four of you?
See, the structure of the company is on a joint venture basis, which is about 50% PSUs and 50% non-PSU. The structure cannot be altered, and if I go for more stakes, the structure itself is getting deviation, and which needs approval of the government.
No problem with the GDF selling it in open market or some other buyers buying it actually?
I think it is a choice of the GDF, and since they were holding it for long and they would like to offload their stocks, and it is their wish as a company.
Okay. Mr. Srinivasan, just coming back to the merger process, although you haven't heard from the government, according to you, what could be a more strategic fit between HPCL and BPCL? Because a lot of market participants that we have spoken to believe that, BPCL could be a more strategic fit because of the success that it has enjoyed in the ENP segment. And also, if this merger does go through, what kind of costs are we looking at?
See, as of now, we have not done any homework at our end, and it is very difficult for me to comment right at this moment. And when we really get into the working levels, we'll definitely share what could be the best fit for us. As of now, we have not just any evaluation process.
Okay. Well, let me come to that big royalty question. The expected impact on your P&L is believed to be 1,600 to 1,700 crores. Should we expect some hit in the Q4 numbers?
Definitely what happens, this entire adjustment which we need to carry out. Now, it is lucky that the entire process has been settled. Otherwise, the liability on ONGC would have been much higher by waiting for the Supreme Court decisions. But at least now, mechanism has been eased out. But thereby, from 1st February, with whatever royalty we had been making payments, those are in our books as advance. Those need to be accounted for in our Q4 accounts. So entire advance of royalty will be adjusted during the 4th quarter. And definitely there is going to be an adjustment and can have an impact on my Q4 numbers.
So that's 2,500 crore?
Yeah, that's our top line which is going to get hit. And the other tax level, PAT level, it should be about 1,600 to 1,700.
Okay. Finally, Mr. Srinivasan, final question from my end at least. What's the outlook on net realizations? We have seen crude prices having seen a bit of a turn. Maybe they've topped out somewhere around 55. But even if that's not the case, what's the best case outcome as far as the net realizations are concerned right now?
So as of up to Q3, my average realization was about $48. And keeping the 4th quarter, the crude prices have been much above the threshold of 54, 55 for a quite long time. And suddenly there has been a drop now. The crude prices is in and around 50, 51, if you look at it. And then the average should be definitely, for a year end, should be 50 plus for me.
Are we looking at higher gas output over the next few years? And if yes, what could the growth be?
Gas output is definitely going to be higher than what we had last year. This year we are expecting about 2 BCM to go up in the current year. And going forward, the gas volumes are likely to increase next year and beyond that also. Due to the new projects which are coming in for implementation, those are going to yield us more volumes of gas.
Okay, Mr. Srinivasan, thanks a lot for your time today. That's ONGC.